Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Touring Car 2024 race reviews. Normally I would say with me is my good friend Ben, but unfortunately due to some internet technical difficulties it will just be me solo. Now I will just say for the record that Ben has watched the videos, he has watched the races, sorry. So it'll be a bit of an interesting one because we've got myself, just myself today. So I'm going to be running through a lot of things. First things first is we've got a summer break which we've just had, and this is the first race back, obviously in North Yorkshire. So in qualifying, we saw the Group 1 eliminations of Rowbottom, Dillon, Moffat and Halstead. Group 2 saw eliminations of Morgan, Osborne, Pearson and Sumpton. When we got to Q2, we saw shock eliminations of Hill and Cook, as well as Smiley, Chilton, Doble and Watson. Once the Fast 6 got underway, it was Colin Turkington who came out on top, with Dan Camish and Tom Ingram rounding out the top 3. The pole time for Colin Turkington was a 1:21.072, with Camish and Ingram less than 2/10 back. So to get into race 1, now I will just be straight up honest, it wasn't too much that happened in the races, so do forgive me. So it was a great start by Turkington to keep Camish and Ingram behind. However, Ingram managed to move past Camish into second place as Camish went off the road. Sutton managed to get past Huff. However, it's worth noting that Sutton was on the soft tyre, which made it easy pickings for Sutton. One lap later and Sutton was up to 4th. Hill managed to get by Chris Smiley for 8th on lap 3, which meant that he'd made up 3 places in the first 3 laps. Lap 4 saw a little scrap between Dillon, Doble and Watson, with Dillon coming out the big loser and coming out behind them. Things got worse for him as he got a time penalty, which didn't help his race. On lap 6 we saw Jake Hill move up to 6th ahead of Rob Huff. However, there wasn't too much action on track after that, and despite being on the fastest tyre, Sutton couldn't find a way by Camish. However, up front no one could stop Turkington from winning the first race of the day, his 15th win at Croft, with Ingram and Camish rounding out the podium. So your race 1 results are as follows. Colin Turkington is your race winner along with fastest lap. Then we have Ingram and Camish 2nd and 3rd, Sutton 4th, Taylor Smith 5th, Hill 6th, 7th is Huff, 8th is Cook, Chilton is 9th and Rowbottom is in 10th. Now moving into race 2, now normally this is the bit that Ben would normally do, but as I said, due to internet issues you're going to have me do that one. So race 2 proved to be an interesting affair, as the top 6 were now on the hardest tyres with everyone else on the softs. Straight from the off though, it was carnage, as Huffy was all over Hill and Ingram was all over Turkington. As lap 1 got through the first 2 sectors, we saw Huff move up into 5th ahead of Hill and Ingram move into the lead ahead of Turkington. Plus progress didn't stop there though, as he soon found himself behind Sutton and Turkington, who were scrapping for position. Then a huge opportunity appeared as Sutton bumped Turkington, allowed Huff to slip by them both and up into second place. But meanwhile was flying as he set the fastest lap on lap 3. There was other scraps going on through the field as Morgan, Chilton, Hill, Watson and Moffat were all scraping for positions on track. Osborne and Smiley had a small scrap on lap 4 for 15th place. Lap 5 saw some key moves on track as Rowbottom got past Camish for 5th, but more crucially though, we saw Ingram get passed by Huff, who moved into the lead. Before long, Cook then got past Ingram, with Rowbottom the next guy to look at getting past him as well. Further back, we saw a sense of deja vu as Aaron Taylor Smith held up a 5-car train of cars, including Hill, Turkington, Chilton and Morgan lap after lap. Then disaster struck as Hill tried to take Chilton on the outside on lap 10, got pushed off, and as a result Hill slid down the order and out of the points. At the front though, all eyes were on the 2 Toyotas as Huff held Cook for the lead. On lap 12 we saw Adam Morgan go out of the race as his rear left tyre blew out, and as a result he retired from the race. Lap 13 saw Cook finally make his move as he managed to move past Huff, and he went into a lead he would not relinquish for the rest of the race, as he then held on to win, with Rob Huff and Dan Rowbottom rounding out the podium for race 2. So your race 2 results are as follows. Josh Cook is your race winner along with the fastest lap, with Huff in 2nd, Rowbottom in 3rd. Then we had Ingram 4th, Sutton 5th, Camish 6th, Aaron Taylor Smith in 7th, Chilton 8th, Turkington 9th and Aidan Moffat to round out the top 10. Now, in terms of who got picked for race 3, this was Tom Chilton. So he was put on pole for race 3. This is a pretty chaotic race in the first few laps, as we saw multiple passes and a fantastic double pass from Camish, as Ingram and Aaron Taylor-Smith went into battle and he came out ahead of them both. Sutton had a bad start and dropped down to 6th. Turkington moved up the field very quickly and was in 4th place by lap 4. By the time we got to lap 5, things were starting to calm down and people started to ease into their races. On lap 6, we saw Huff and Sutton go into battle and ended up with a bit of contact. However, Huff gave Sutton the place after hitting him to show sportsmanship with him. There was some hard racing between Turkington and Ingram, but this ended in a horrific off as Turkington went off at high speed and into the barriers. Despite the damage, he continued on but quickly pitted due to the damage sustained. Lap 10 saw Hill get past Huff and move himself up into 5th place. The Vauxhalls decided to battle, which ended in disaster as Dover went off and De Leon watched it all happen in front of him on lap 14. Tom Chilton, however, was loving it as he took the lead from the very start and he held on to win from Camish and Ingram, who rounded out the podium. Turkington did actually manage to get back in the points with a busted car as he snuck by Mikey Doble, 14th place across the line, scoring 2 points in the championship. So your race 3 results are as follows. Tom Chilton is your race winner, and Camish is 2nd with the fastest lap. Ingram is 3rd, Sutton 4th, Hill 5th, Huff 6th, Cook 7th, Rowbottom 8th, Morgan 9th and Pearson in 10th. So in terms of the driver standings, it's Tom Ingram with a mighty lead of 21 points from Jake Hill in 2nd, with Sutton still in 3rd. Camish now is in 4th, really close to Sutton and Hill, so who knows where the championship might go. Cook's not far out of it either in 5th with 192 points. Then we have Turkington, then a big gap back to Chilton, Taylor-Smith, who are tied at 130 points each, 1 point ahead of Rob Huff, with Dan Rowbottom rounding out the weekend altogether. And in terms of winners from the weekend, I think obviously Tom Chilton would be an obvious one, but I think Dan Camish did very, very well this weekend. He had some very strong performances, getting 2 podiums out of 3, holding off. He didn't really manage to hold off Ingram apart from in the last race. However, I think a good amount of points were scored. I do think Aaron Taylor-Smith did a very good job holding off a bunch of cars in both the first and the second races despite the ending. Ingram, surprisingly, definitely one who did very, very well this weekend. I mean, being off the podium once, I think he scored a good amount of points. I would say Turkington, but given how his race 2 went, well, his race 3 went actually rather his race 2, but I'd say how his race 2 and 3 went, definitely a winner from this weekend. In terms of overall though, like I said, the racing wasn't too spectacular in terms of like what racing we've expected from this season, but in terms of overall pace, I'd definitely say that it definitely seems like you've got the BMW, the Hyundai and the Fords are all in the fight, and it's really good to see that. The thing is, the next race is Knockhill. Now this was one that was very famous last year for Hill winning and doing well there, and I think in the previous year he did well as well from memory. So it's not really his hunting ground, so to speak, but he did quite well. And obviously then it's to be expected that you'll obviously get the likes of Josh Cook, Ronan Pearson, who I believe was on track to win his first race, and obviously then Ingram won it. It was also most notable for like the turning point in the championship this time last year, because Ingram had his disqualification, which gave Sutton a huge lead in the championship for those that cast their mind back to 2023. So it could be anybody's game, who knows. We might see a Scottish winner once again. I think the last time was Butcher when he raced for the Toyota team, but again, who knows. Given the 20 summit point gap, Ingram's going to be looking at trying to build on that. Hill will be hoping for a strong performance, and obviously Sutton will be hoping to bounce back very hard. But who knows, maybe we get a surprise again. Another great performance from Camish, Cook, Turkington, they're all in the mix, or maybe we'll get a brand new winner altogether. Who knows, because that's what race 3s do. But overall, like I said, I think Croft could have gone better. Not too bad. If you did manage to catch the support races, they were fantastic. But on that bombshell, I'm going to wrap this up here. It's a lot shorter than what we usually do, mainly because of the fact that Ben's not here. So I've not got a chance to get a second opinion. But from what I gather, he enjoyed the racing somewhat, so it wasn't too bad. But I'm sure if you're an Ingram fan, you'd come away very happy, which he is in that case. But yeah, like I said, we've got Knockhill coming up next, so a lot to look forward to. And let us know down in the comments what you thought of the racing from this weekend. Did you like it? Did you not like it? As always, be sure to leave your comments down in the comment section. And also don't forget to check out the playlist for all of the race reviews. Obviously we have one, I didn't mention at the start of the video, but we do have one in case you are interested. The link is always in the description. There's probably been some text earlier on the video regarding that anyway. But yeah, until then, we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks time for the Knockhill round of the championship in good old Scotland, where we might get some liquid sunshine. If you know what that is basically rain in Scottish terms. So yeah, well, on that note, thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a great evening, and of course, as always, ta-ra.